I brought home a stranger. My wife screamed, "Who is she? What the hell is this?" We just stood there. Then I said, "Meet your lover's wife." She went pale. People always ask me if I planned that moment. Like I sat down with a notepad and sketched it out like a heist. I didn't. I didn't plan any of this. I just noticed things. And when you notice enough things, eventually you can't unknow them, and then you stop being nice. It started on a Tuesday. Most bad things do. Tuesdays are the middle manager of the week. Nobody respects them, and that's when they sneak up and gut you. I'm an information systems lead for the county hospital network. That's a long way to say that when things break, I know before anyone else, and when people want to pretend things didn't break, I'm the guy who gets told to be discreet. That Tuesday, cardiology lost its records portal for about 20 minutes. A switch choked. Everyone panicked like the building was on fire, and I quietly drove over, fixed it, and drove home with the feeling you get after you hold a building's heartbeat in your fist and nobody says thank you. I wasn't supposed to be home at 6. Olivia wasn't supposed to be home until late. Pilates then drinks with the marketing team, she'd said that morning. She'd been all perfume and blazer and gloss, kissing me on the cheek like I was an old neighbor she's fond of. She smelled like money soap. Whatever that new citrus thing is that people who go to networking breakfasts all use. I told her, "Good luck," the way I always do. She rolled her eyes and told me not to say good luck, because it sounds like I'm talking to a contestant. I pulled into the driveway, and something was wrong. Your house has tells. If you actually live in it, you know. You know the way the front door sits when it's locked, the way the hallway light bleeds under the crack if someone left it on. How many cars should be on a street that doesn't allow parking after 6 unless you're authorized? Something was off, and I felt it in my chest before I understood it. The front door was unlocked. Olivia never leaves the front door unlocked. She gives lectures about it. "This is not a college apartment, Dan," she'll say, like I'm known for living like a raccoon. She grew up in a neighborhood with gates that talk to visitors through cameras. I grew up in a split level where my mom kicked the snow off her boots and yelled, "I'm home," before the door closed. We're built different. She locks things. So when I pushed the door and it just opened, my body told me before my head did, something's wrong. Something's off. Something's open that shouldn't be. The kitchen smelled like red wine. 2 glasses sat in the sink. One had lipstick. One didn't. We only own the 2 big-stemmed glasses because Olivia made me throw out the rest last spring when she decided we were done pretending we're still in our 20s with mismatched garbage. Those glasses only come out when we host or on Olivia's debrief nights, where she leans against the counter and vents about office people I never meet. There was music still playing in the living room, low. One of those moody playlists she keeps for when she's centering. A kind of pop song with a slow beat that sounds like breathing in a dark car. And on the coffee table, the house iPad was open. Still awake. Still on messages. That shouldn't happen. She is careful. She is so careful that when we go to dinner with her boss, she turns her phone face down and upside down. She once got mad at me because I left my work laptop open on the couch while I went to the bathroom. "You're going to get fired," she said, like I'd set a live grenade down instead of an HP. So the iPad being left open isn't just sloppy, it's against her religion. I should say this now before you decide how you're going to judge her. Olivia is not dumb. She's not the stereotype. She's not some bored glass of Pinot wife who just fell into a lap and ruined a marriage because she felt neglected. She plans. She thinks. She studies people the way I study network logs. She makes moves like she's not making them. She's always known where every version of her face is being seen and by who. She can tell you which investor's wife likes her, and which investor's wife pretends to like her, and which investor's wife is already telling people that Olivia dresses attention forward. So if that iPad was open, it was open because she didn't expect me home. Not at 6, not on a Tuesday. I walked over to it slow. This is the part I remember like video. I remember hearing my own heart like I'd swallowed a subwoofer. I remember my keys still being in my hand and the way they pressed into my palm like teeth. Her messages were up. The thread at the top wasn't work or Tony or mom. It was Anthony from print shop. Cute. You know what hits you first? Not anger, not even disgust. It's humiliation, hard and deep and instant, like someone slapped you in front of your whole graduating class. I wasn't even mad first. I was embarrassed. Embarrassed in my own house, alone. I scrolled. Park 2 streets over. The Whitmans notice everything. No cologne this time. I told him it's from the gym and I can't have that smell on me again. Bring the charger. The space heater's crap. My hair's frizzing out. Logistics. It read like planning a work session. There were no, I miss you, baby. No, can't wait to feel you. You think you want to see passion when you find out your wife is cheating. You think that'll make it a tragic romance you can frame. They were meant for each other. That kind of garbage. This wasn't that. This was operations. And then, 3 messages that changed the temperature of the room. He's not masculine. He'll fold. He always folds if you just let him talk first. I just need leverage before I make my move. After that, we can make it clean, and he'll even think it was his idea. The he was me, obviously. I read those 3 messages and time actually stretched. I didn't know that actually happens, but it does. It's not dramatic. It's math. Your brain starts calculating at a higher frame rate, and your body is still in regular time. You see everything. Her jacket on the back of the chair, her heels by the couch, one upright, one toppled. Her hair straightener still plugged in the bathroom, light on, plate warm. She only straightens her hair before she's about to go somewhere she wants to look effortless. Straight hair, jeans, loose sweater, casual rich. You have to practice to look like that. And Tyler, his name, the other name on the thread, the one answering. You're overthinking. I'll make you forget. You like how I handle you, stop lying like you don't. Not romantic, not thoughtful, possessive, simple. The kind of confidence you only get from never having to clean up the mess afterward. I didn't smash the iPad. I didn't scream her name. I sat down on the couch. I set my keys on the table. And I did something boring. I paired the iPad to my old tablet in my office. That sounds technical. It isn't. Olivia and I share an Apple ID from 4 tax seasons ago because she didn't want to keep logging into her receipts and family calendar separately. That means messages can sync across devices if you let them. Most people don't even realize it. It's not hacking. It's a checkbox. I checked the box. Now I had a live feed. Not just of what she had already done, of what she'd do next. Call it petty if you want. Call it invasion. Here's what I call it. I call it waking up. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. She came home at 9:30 that night acting like she lived there and I was a welcome guest. Hey, she said, dropping her bag on the counter. She sounded light. Too light. You're home early. Network apocalypse? Cardio lost their portal, I said. She laughed, like that was a joke. Like, cardiology can't access EKGs is a sitcom setup. She walked over, kissed my cheek, and then she froze. The iPad was still on the couch, still awake, still on messages, and she's careful. Her face went white in one heartbeat. Daniel, she said, too fast, too controlled. Why were you on my messages? I didn't answer that. That wasn't the question. That question is bait. The real question is, what are you hiding? And the real play is to get me to defend myself first so she can go on offense. That's how you control the story. She does this in meetings. She flips the power before anyone realizes it's upside down. I just looked at her. Her mouth did this small thing. It's like a smile with no commitment. I've seen it in pitch meetings. It's the look she gives investors when a number doesn't add up, but she needs them to believe the math anyway. "Daniel," she said again, this time softer. "We need to talk, okay?" "Yeah," I said. "We do." I stood up, walked past her, and went upstairs to the office. I closed the door. She didn't follow. That's when I knew it wasn't an affair. You don't stand there in silence if it's an accident. You chase, you beg, you cry. She didn't. She waited. She started planning. By morning, I had the rest. "Client thing tonight," she texted, Anthony from print shop at noon. "He wants to walk through the Grant Street place, 7:30. He thinks we should stress test the layout." Grant Street is a flip. Half finished, no heat. One generator and a space heater they were running off extension cord. I knew because she'd complained about, how am I supposed to seduce investors in a place with no drywall and dust on the wine? She said, seduce, as if it's a marketing tactic. In her world, it is. I texted my boss at 4 and told him the cardiology fix needed eyes on in the morning. I told him I'd be remote tonight. He said, "Bless you," and dropped a heart emoji, because that's what passes for management now. At 7, I parked 3 houses down from 112 Grant and waited in my car with the engine off and the window cracked because I didn't want the car fogging. I felt like a criminal and a child and a surgeon all at once. Olivia pulled up 2 streets over, just like she told him to. A dark sweater, jeans, hair straight. She looked like an ad for wine you can't afford. Tyler pulled up after in a Range Rover with blacked-out rims he absolutely did not buy outright. Guys like him rent their image in 36-month notes. They went inside. I didn't move for a full minute. Then I got out, crossed the street, and walked around the side of the property where the plastic sheeting didn't quite meet the framing. The place was in mid-gut. You could smell drywall dust and primer and cold concrete. I could see them through the gap. They weren't kissing. That's the part that stuck. They were arguing. Olivia's hands were tight around her coffee cup. She talks with her hands when she's nervous, not when she's confident. With confidence, she goes still, like marble. With nerves, she fidgets. "I'm telling you, we have to do this in a way that doesn't make me look impulsive," she said. Tyler rolled his eyes in that slow, exaggerated way some gym guys do when they think they're in charge. "Liv," he said. He talks like his name is bigger than the room. "You're overthinking. You always overthink. You keep saying leverage like it's court. He's a soft guy. Just tell him you're done." "You don't get it," she said. "If I don't set the story first, I get painted like I'm cheating." "You are cheating." She went quiet. For a second, I thought that would hit her. It didn't. She just reset and kept going, like he'd said nothing. "If I get ahead of it," she said, "I look like a responsible partner trying to leave an unhealthy marriage. He gets to be the unstable, jealous husband. We get the house. I can keep my position with Tony through the winter. Then by spring, it's clean. You're in the picture, but we can sell it." "You're in the picture." That's what she said, like he's a kitchen island. Tyler stepped in close to her and grabbed her wrist. Not romantic, not playful, firm. I saw her flinch and then force herself not to pull back, like she knew if she jerked away, he'd get offended, and then his ego would bruise, and she'd have to fix it. I filmed that. I want to be clear about that now. I filmed him grab her. I filmed her swallow it. Not because I wanted to blackmail him, not even then. I filmed it because I saw her being controlled by someone who wasn't me, and some part of me knew that could save me later, even if I didn't know how. Then it wasn't talking anymore. It wasn't pretty either. You'd think it'd be like in movies, all hands and moans. It was messy, fast, transactional. Space heater buzzing in the corner, plastic sheets rattling every time they moved. I heard Olivia say, "Not my neck, he'll see," and, "No, not that, it'll leave a mark." I heard Tyler laugh. I heard her laugh too, but it was the laugh she uses with clients. The practiced one. I didn't feel jealous. That surprised me. I felt owned. Not by him. By her. like I was just now learning what my role in my own marriage had been for the last year, and I hadn't signed anything. When they were done and she pulled her jeans back up, I hit stop. Then I did the part everyone swears they'd do, but almost nobody actually does. I didn't run in there. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene that night and blow it all in one uncontrolled swing. I waited. I watched where they each drove afterward. Tyler didn't take Olivia home. He drove to an apartment complex on Gray Hill, across from the pharmacy. A decent place, not luxury, but with the kind of fitness center and clubhouse guys like him use in selfies to imply prosperity. I watched which building he went into. I watched what door. I saw a woman open it. Different woman. Not Olivia. That was Kayla. And that's when the idea happened. The flowers were for camouflage. You show up late in the evening at some woman's apartment, you should have something in your hands that says, "You belong." Flowers do that. Cheap grocery store roses. I grabbed them from the 24-hour store down the road and drove straight back to Gray Hill. My heart was in my throat, not just nervous, thrumming. But under that was a weird, steady calm. I get like that when a network dies. Everything goes slow. My hands stop shaking. I almost feel detached from my body. I knocked. The woman who opened the door had her hair in a messy bun and a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Socks, no shoes. Comfortable like this was home. That told me more than anything else. Side chicks don't get comfortable. Wives and live-ins get comfortable. "Can I help you?" she said. "Hi," I said. "Is Tyler here? He asked me to drop these off. We work with Olivia." It was a clumsy line, but good enough. I said Olivia's name like Olivia is a common point of reference. Her face moved. That tells me she knew the name. "Good." "He's in the shower," she said. "Of course he is." "And you are?" "I'm Daniel," I said. I stuck out my hand. "I'm Olivia's husband." You could feel the temperature drop. Her eyes widened, her lips parted. I saw anger jump in, fast and clean, before pain even had time to show up. Good. Anger would keep her from slamming the door on me and calling Tyler to warn him. "Come in," she said. The apartment was clean in the way that says, "I'm building a life I can post." Little fake succulents, throw blanket artfully draped, bar cart with 2 decent whiskeys, and a gin bottle with 3 fingers left. "How long have you two been together?" I asked. She laughed. One sound. Hard. "A year," she said. "Who are you again?" I repeated it. "Daniel Mercer, married to Olivia Mercer." She bit down on the inside of her cheek. "He said you guys were basically done." "Did he say we were basically done before or after last week when she let him take her in a half-renovated flip on Grant Street?" I said. Her eyes watered. Just a little. But they didn't spill. She's tougher than she looks. Good. I needed tough. "You have proof?" she said. "Yeah," I said. "Can I see it?" "Yeah," I said again. I pulled out my phone. I didn't show her the whole thing. I scrubbed to where Olivia was talking about leverage and phasing me out, and to where Tyler grabbed her wrist. I watched Kayla watching it. Her face twisted into something new. Not just betrayal this time. Something like humiliation and rage sewn together. Then I did something I didn't know I was going to do, until it was coming out of my mouth. "Can you do me a favor?" I said. She looked at me. "What?" "Text him," I said. "Tell him we need to talk, right now. Urgent." "Why would I do that for you?" she said. "Not for me," I said. "For you. Because if you don't do this with me, he's going to spin this as crazy jealous ex and her loser husband blowing up my life because he's insecure. And most people will believe him, because he looks the part, and I don't. But if we do this my way, you don't get painted crazy. He does." It wasn't the full truth. The full truth was I wanted them all in a room where nobody could lie their way out of it. But it was enough. She stared at me for a long 5 seconds, then she nodded once, fast, sharp. "What do I say?" Say, we need to talk. Now, I'm serious. Come home. She typed. Tyler walked in 6 minutes later. He wasn't expecting me. Of course he wasn't. Guys like him always think they're in control of the scene. He came in with his shirt halfway on, still damp from the shower, hair pushed back, jaw set. The second he saw me, he went red. "What the hell is this?" he said. I didn't answer. I was too calm. That's when Olivia walked in. Perfect timing. Because while Kayla texted him, I texted Olivia from Kayla's phone. I'd watched Kayla unlock it, and she doesn't use Face ID because it never reads her right in the morning and she gets annoyed. 4-digit passcode. I saw it when she typed 1107. You'd think nobody uses 1107 anymore. You'd be wrong. I sent Olivia from Kayla's phone. "We need to talk. He told me everything. I'm not doing this if you lie. Come now." You know what Olivia hates more than anything? Loss of control. So of course she came. She stepped inside, saw me, then saw Kayla, then saw Tyler, and I felt the whole room suck in air and hold it. Olivia whispered, "Daniel," like my name was poison. Kayla leaned forward like a coil finally let loose. "Who is she?" Olivia said, pointing at Kayla, voice already shaking with anger she hadn't even earned the right to use. Kayla laughed. "I'm his girlfriend," she said. "Who the hell is she?" Kayla pointed at Olivia. "I'm his wife," Olivia said, then caught herself, corrected with a sharp little tilt of the chin. "Legally, technically." "Technically," I said. "Such an ugly word. Let's do this without the branding." Tyler stepped into my space. He put a hand on my chest and shoved. Not a hard shove, a testing shove, the kind a bully gives on a playground, not to knock you down yet, but to check how easy it will be. "Get out of my house," he said. "It's not your house," Kayla said. "It's our house," Tyler said between his teeth, without looking at her. You want to know what rage looks like when it's not cinematic? Look at a woman who just heard her boyfriend tell another woman that the place she pays half the rent on isn't hers. Kayla threw a glass. It didn't hit anybody. It shattered against the wall, and wine sprayed across a framed quote about good vibes in looping script. The irony almost made me smile. Olivia spun on me. "What is this?" she said. "You set me up? You set me up, Dan?" "Oh," I said, letting the word sit for a second. "Are we using set up now? I thought we were using leverage." Her eyes widened. She hates when you quote her. She says it's weaponizing conversations. Yes, exactly. That's why it's effective. I turned to Kayla. "Check his phone," I said. "Look for my wife's name. It'll be under Anthony from Print Shop." "There's no Anthony." Tyler moved fast, reaching for his phone, but Kayla is faster than she looks. She snatched it first. She looked wild, but not out of control. This woman is not weak. I liked her in that moment. Tyler shoved me again, harder. "Delete anything you think you filmed, you little creep," he said low. "Tyler," Olivia hissed. "You can't." He whirled. "Shut up, Liv." That was a mistake. For him, for her, for the story they'd both been trying to build. The room exploded. Kayla was yelling. Olivia was yelling. Tyler was yelling. But you know what people remember from a room like that? Not the volume, the single clean line, the sentence you can't take back. I waited for it. I didn't know it was coming, but I felt it like you feel the rumble before thunder. Olivia tried to say, "It's not what you think." And that, right there, was my gift. That was the most ridiculous sentence in English. That line should have a laugh track behind it. I couldn't help it. I actually laughed. "Liv," I said, "you're not in a show." "Don't call me that," she snapped, fast, automatic like reflex. Kayla looked at me. "What did he tell you about me?" she asked. I didn't sugarcoat. "That you don't matter," I said. "That you're convenient until the paperwork's done. That after he helps Olivia handle me, she'll phase him in and then phase him out." His words, her plan. Olivia went pale. Kayla swung on Tyler. "You said you loved me," she said. voice cracking on the last word in a way that made even me feel it. Tyler tried to play taller. "Baby, they're twisting it." Kayla slapped him. I didn't touch him. At all. I didn't need to. I just watched him stand there, shocked, hand to his face, like it had never even occurred to him someone might dare make contact with his sacred jaw. Then I did the line that started this story. I turned to Olivia, then to Kayla, and said, clear as glass, "Meet your lover's wife." You know that sound you hear in movies when somebody gets shot and all the background noise goes quiet and there's a ringing in the main character's ears? That actually happens. It's not ringing. It's people being so shocked they forget how to breathe for 2 full seconds. Then everything started moving again too fast. Olivia lunged at me like she was going to hit me. Olivia has never hit me in 8 years. She didn't now. She stopped herself. Not because she loves me, because optics. She can't be the violent one. It doesn't play. Tyler grabbed my shirt with both hands and slammed me into the wall. My shoulder hit the drywall and bounced. He leaned into me and whispered, "You think you're smart? You think you're a man now? I'll end you." I smiled. I could taste plaster dust. "Smile for me," I said, and lifted my phone just enough that he saw the red recording square. He jerked back like it burned him. "Say hi to LinkedIn," I said softly. And that was that. We broke the seal. The world we'd been living in, polite, curated, controlled, Instagram stable, cracked. When we stepped out of that apartment that night, none of us were going back. We didn't talk on the ride home. Olivia sat in the passenger seat, arms crossed, jaw like stone. She wouldn't even look at me. She stared out the window like she was in a music video where the chorus is sad and brave. The kind of video where the car moves through dark suburbs and the woman is lit by passing streetlights like she's the tragic lead. She had that look. Wet eyes, clenched jaw, noble suffering. She was already rewriting the scene in her head. I could feel it. In her version, she was wounded and betrayed, and I was erratic and cruel. I could practically hear the narration. I just watched the road and kept my hands on 10 and 2 because that's what calm men do, and because I knew calm would bother her more than yelling. I could feel her waiting for me to crack. She wanted me to explode. She wanted me to yell so she could go very still and whisper, "Daniel, please, you're scaring me," into her phone while recording my face at an upward angle with bad lighting. She wanted evidence. I gave her boredom. Traffic lights changed from red to green and I never looked over, not once. She shifted in her seat like there were ants in her clothes. She kept half-turning toward me, starting to talk, stopping, swallowing it. She finally said my name once, "Daniel." And when I didn't respond, she let out this short, angry sound. Not a sigh. Sighs are tired. This was more like a scoff that tripped and fell. She hated being ignored more than she hated being confronted. That told me something I should have known years ago. I drove exactly the speed limit, not 1 mile over. I signaled at every turn. I stopped fully at the sign near Whitman Court, where nobody actually stops after dark. I wanted it recorded in my own mind that I was not reckless here. Even then, I was making a record. I didn't realize how important that was yet. I just knew I needed clean lines. Clean lines save you later. Inside the house, she turned on me so fast it was like her seatbelt had been holding her back. The door had barely clicked shut behind us when she spun around in the foyer under that dumb round chandelier she made us buy because it elevates the entry. Her face was red at the cheekbones, pale around the mouth. She looked like a person halfway through a panic attack, but trying to pitch through it anyway. "You ambushed me," she said. "Yeah," I said. Her voice wasn't quiet. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't a scream either. It was sharp. You could cut drywall with it. Her hands were up, fingers spread, like she was holding something invisible between us and shaking it. I could see the muscles flexing in her throat. I'd seen that same tension when she had to talk to her boss about a client meltdown. She uses anger as a tool. It's not about the feeling, it's about the shape of the feeling. "You humiliated me in some girl's apartment," she said. "Yeah," I said. Some girl's apartment, she repeated, like I hadn't heard the first time. Do you even understand what you just did? Do you understand what that looked like? Yeah, I said again, calm, even. I wasn't doing a bit. I was holding myself in place. Her hands dropped. She stared at me, like she was waiting for something else to come out of my mouth. When nothing came, she shook her head in disbelief, like I'd just failed a test only she knew we were taking. You think that's not illegal? She said. There it was. Not, are you okay? Not, how long have you known? Not, I never meant to hurt you. Straight to leverage, straight to legal, straight to positioning. That's the real Olivia, not the crying in the car version. The real Olivia is already thinking in terms of liability and narrative and how she can spin my reaction as the bigger crime. Now, stop. Here's where a lot of guys mess up. You need to hear this like a warning label. They panic and start defending themselves. No, baby, I didn't mean... They reach for apology because they're used to apologizing just to end the fight, even when they didn't do anything wrong, or they blow up. Illegal? You cheated. They go full throat, volume high, and that's it. Game over. Because the second you raise your voice, you're the unstable one. The second you get loud, you're the problem. The second you get mad in front of someone who's already decided to paint you as dangerous, you're halfway to a story where cops take you out of your own house for everybody's safety. It's not fair, but it's true. And Olivia knows that because she builds those stories for a living. The right play is calm. The right play is boring. Boring doesn't get you removed. Boring gets you believed. I kept my voice level. I didn't move toward her. I didn't point. I didn't crowd her. I stayed across the entry tile with my hands visible and relaxed at my sides like I was being filmed for training on how to de-escalate a situation. It's not illegal to stand in a room with people who invited me there, I said. It's not illegal to let everyone tell the truth in front of each other. It's not illegal to record you in a property you don't own while you commit an OSHA violation with a space heater and no ventilation in a half-wired house, by the way. I should probably send that to the city, actually, for safety. I said OSHA on purpose. She always rolled her eyes at me when I brought up rules. She'd say things like, God, Daniel, you're so by the book, like being careful made me less of a man. She made careful sound like soft. So I weaponized it. I took all the boring compliance language and pointed it right back at her job, her image, her comfort. I saw her flinch at OSHA like it was a physical thing thrown at her face. She heard more in that sentence than safety. She heard the word report. She heard liability. She heard Tony is going to see this, and that scared her more than my anger ever could have. Her eyes flashed. Her mouth dropped open like she couldn't believe I'd said it out loud. She was breathing fast now. She did not like that part. You wouldn't, she said. You sure? I said. Her pupils twitched. I mean it. I watched them. She was doing math. Real math. Damage math. The kind of math she does at work when she's slotting facts into stories. If City Inspection or Tony or an investor or one of Marcy's HOA friends saw video of Olivia and Tyler using an unfinished flip property like a motel with no permits signed off yet, that wouldn't just embarrass her. That would label her as sloppy. You can cheat on your husband in that circle if you do it discreet and tasteful and sad. You cannot drag work into it and make the investors nervous. That's unforgivable. You'd ruin my career, she said. She said career like that word was sacred. Not marriage. Career. You already ruined my marriage, I said. She scoffed. It was a small, ugly noise, automatic, and she probably didn't even hear herself do it. The kind of sound you make when someone says something you don't want to give weight to. The kind of sound that says, you are being dramatic and beneath me, and I refuse to dignify that. The sound landed harder than any scream would have. Our marriage was over a long time before tonight, she said. Here's the thing about that line. It's common. It's in the script. You can buy it in bulk like napkins. You can hear it in any breakup story, in any bar, on any Friday night. People say it because it's supposed to dull the blade. It's supposed to make betrayal sound like mercy, but it never stops stinging. I felt it in the soft part of me, the part that still believed we were us. It landed there like a nail under a fingernail, small, precise, sickening. And it wasn't even true, not the way she meant it. Maybe we were strained. Yeah. Maybe we had distance. Yeah. We went to bed tired more nights than not. We talked more about grocery lists than about feelings. We weren't 22 anymore. We weren't even 30 anymore. But we still shared a house, a mortgage, a tax return, a calendar, plans that used words like next year. You don't get to rewrite all of that as over just because it makes you feel cleaner walking into somebody else's arms. Funny, I said, because if I stopped joking, I was going to fall apart. I didn't get a calendar invite about it ending. She let out a breath like I'd slapped her. She hated when I used sarcasm in a fight. She'd always say, "Be serious. This is serious, Daniel." But I wasn't joking because it was funny. I was joking because humor is the last thread you hold when everything else rips. It's either laugh or drop. I wasn't ready to drop. "Don't," she said, voice shaking in a way that was half anger, half something like panic. "Don't joke. This isn't a joke. You can't humiliate me and think we're going to what? Sit here and negotiate? You can't think you're in charge now." There it was, the truth under everything else. You can't think you're in charge now. Not, "You hurt me." Not, "How could you?" Not, "Why?" All she cared about in that moment was control. She was angry that I had stepped out of my lane, angry that I wasn't playing the part, angry that I wasn't folding like she'd promised I would in those texts, that hit harder than "our marriage was over." Hearing her say "you can't think you're in charge now" was like seeing the blueprint. I was never supposed to be a partner to her. I was supposed to be infrastructure, quiet, reliable, invisible. Hold up the walls and don't ask who gets to live inside. I walked to the fridge, opened it, and took out a bottle of water. I twisted the cap off, real slow. I needed the movement. I needed something normal in my hands. I could feel my heart in my throat and down in my wrists at the same time. My fingers tingled. You don't realize until you're in it that anger feels electric. It buzzes in your bones. I was scared of the buzzing. I didn't trust it. The water bottle gave me something to focus on that wasn't the urge to shake her and yell, "What else are you lying about?" The fridge motor hummed. The kitchen light over the island flickered the way it always flickers, because the dimmer switch was put in by the guy who flipped this place before we bought it, and that guy cut corners everywhere he could. We always said we should get that fixed. We never did. Married life is full of things you should fix and never do because there's always time. Jokes on us. "Liv," I said. She flinched like the word burned. "Don't call me that." "Olivia," I said, switching without fighting her on it. Fine. She wanted formality. She could have it. Listen carefully. I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to be very, very clear, because I'm done with gray areas, okay? She swallowed. I watched her throat move. Her breathing got shallow. Her eyes were wet, but she wasn't crying yet. Not because she wasn't hurt. Because she wasn't going to give me that in this moment. That's the difference between Olivia crying because she's scared and Olivia crying because she's selling. She can cry on command in public. I've seen it. This wasn't that. This was her body throwing up warnings. From this point forward, I said, assume I'm documenting everything you do and everything you say that affects me. Assume I'm telling the truth to anyone who asks. Assume I'm not lying to cover you anymore. Her eyebrows jerked at that. She knows exactly how many times I've covered for her. The late meetings that were actually drinks. The client dinners that were actually Tyler in a hotel bar. The he's exaggerating moments I smoothed for her in front of her mother. The times I told her boss she had food poisoning when she was actually hungover and shaking. Assume I'm not covering for you with your parents, I said. Her lips parted again, just a crack. Her mother was a live wire. Bring her mother into it, and Olivia turns from strategist to frantic daughter in under a second. I knew that. I used it. Assume I'm not covering for you with your boss, I said. Assume I'm not covering for you with this neighborhood. Assume I will not raise my voice. Assume I will not hit you. Assume I will not give you anything you can call unsafe. Her face twitched there. She heard that. She knew exactly why I said it. She knew I knew. I watched it register. He is building a record. He is building his alibi. He is getting ahead of my story. Assume I will ruin your reputation before you can ruin mine, I said, because you tried to ruin me first. Silence. I'm talking dead quiet. House quiet. You could hear the fridge hum and the faint ticking of the stupid decorative wall clock she bought from that home store she says isn't basic, even though literally every living room in this zip code has the same clock. I could even hear our neighbor's dog through the wall because the insulation's trash. It sounded far away. The kitchen felt like a courtroom. You can't talk to me like that, she whispered. I'm already doing it, I said. She stared at me. She looked scared. I want to say I felt bad. I didn't. I felt awake. There's a difference. Feeling bad would have meant I still belonged to her, emotionally. Awake meant I was standing in my own body for the first time in months. Her eyes were shiny. Her jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle jumping at the hinge. She crossed her arms again, but this time it wasn't defiance. It was protection. Like she was cold. She wasn't cold. The house was warm. I could see a faint tremor in her hands, and that tremor was new. You think, she said slowly, picking her words one by one like glass off the floor, that you can threaten me and I'm just going to sit here? I'm not threatening you, I said. I'm telling you the new terms. Terms, she hissed. She said it like I offered her a coupon, like I was cheap. Yes, I said. This is marriage, Daniel, she snapped, not a contract. That almost made me laugh in her face, almost. This is marriage, she said, not a contract. After I watched her scheduling my exit like a planned marketing pivot so she could keep the house, keep the investors, keep her reputation as tasteful and controlled while I got pushed out and branded unstable. After I watched her and Tyler talk about phasing me out, like I was an outdated appliance. After I watched her calculating how to frame me as angry and unsafe so she could get sympathy and a clean division. She had the nerve to say this is marriage, not a contract. Go to bed, I said. Her head snapped back. I don't tell her to go to bed. That's not our dynamic. I ask, you coming up? I ask, you tired? I ask, long day. I don't issue commands. She's the one who does that. She gives orders dressed up as suggestions and then calls herself assertive, not bossy. Hearing me give her a direct instruction shorted something out in her. I'm not a child, she said. Go to bed, Olivia, I said again, in the tone I used when a surgeon is yelling at me about his login while the main database is actually on fire. That tone is a tool. It's calm. It's firm. It tells the other person I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you what needs to happen next so nobody dies. It's a tone that resets a room. It works on people with God complexes because it doesn't challenge their ego with yours. It just moves past it. Her chin shook. She hates being told what to do. She hates it even more when it works on her. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I watched her try to come up with a line. She had nothing. Not because she was out of insults. Because she understood something dangerous in that second. She wasn't the only one who could frame a narrative anymore. She stared at me one more beat, like she was trying to memorize my face in this new version so she could figure out how to fight him later. Then she walked upstairs without another word. Her back was stiff, her shoulders were squared. She was pretending dignity on every step, but I could see the tiny hitch in her left knee she gets when she's shaking and trying to hide it. I notice that. I notice everything now. You start taking inventory of the way a person moves when you stop trusting their words. I stayed where I was for a full minute after she disappeared down the hallway. I drank half the water in one long pull, even though my mouth felt like chalk. My hands were steady. That freaked me out more than anything. I thought I'd be shaking. I wasn't. I was cold, clear. It felt like when the hospital network goes down and the whole floor is screaming and I'm the only one who knows which server actually matters and which ones can burn while we save the important stuff. I cleaned up 2 wine glasses from the sink. One had lipstick. One didn't. I rinsed them out and set them upside down on the rack. It's funny, the things you still do out of habit. The house chores keep going no matter how hard your life explodes. Dishes don't care about betrayal. Trash night doesn't care that your marriage is bleeding out on the kitchen tile. You still have to roll the bin to the curb before 9 a.m., or the truck guy will leave you out, and then Marcy will send a neighborhood email about overflowing household waste attracting animals. Life keeps its schedule, even when your heart just went off script. I checked the locks. I never used to check the locks because Olivia always did it, and because our neighborhood is the kind of place realtors describe with words like safe and tight-knit community. I checked them anyway. Front door, back slider, garage interior door. I made sure every deadbolt was thrown. I don't know why. It's not like Tyler was going to break in right then. It's not like Olivia was going to run. I think I just needed to feel like I had control of something made of metal. Then I went upstairs, past our bedroom. I could hear her in there. She was pacing. You know that sound when someone's walking angry, heel first, not ball of foot? That's how she paced. Heel strike, heel strike, heel strike. No softness. Like she was rehearsing her next move in court. I could hear her voice sometimes, low, like she was practicing lines. I couldn't make the words out. I didn't try to listen harder. I didn't want to know yet. I didn't trust myself with that yet. I slept in the guest room. I shut the door. I lay on my back and stared at the ceiling fan and listened to the cheap blades push warm air around like lazy hands. That fan has a tiny wobble because the previous owner never balanced it after installing. I always meant to fix it. Add that to the list of things I always meant to fix. My mind wouldn't stop running. Not looping the cheating even. That part felt weirdly distant. It was already filed, caught, labeled, time-stamped. What kept replaying instead was her saying leverage, and him saying he'll fold, and her saying our marriage was over a long time before tonight. I kept hearing those in different orders, like a messed-up playlist that won't stop shuffling back to the same 3 songs. You hear about guys who find out and crumble, guys who sit on the edge of the bed with their face in their hands, ugly crying into the dark, asking where they went wrong. I thought maybe that would be me. It wasn't. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't whisper her name like a prayer. I lay there and I made lists in my head. That's who I was now. Cold, boring, documenting, turning pain into lines on a report. The old me would have walked in and asked what she needed. The old me would have knocked soft and said, "Talk to me." The old me would have asked if she was okay. The old me would have said, "We can work on this. We can figure this out. We can get counseling. We can reset. I just want you to be happy." The old me would have been thinking about us like a unit, about fixing the leak before it rotted the subfloor. The old me would have been trying to save her from the consequences of what she did. The old me was gone. The next day, I sat down and made a list. Erin helped. Erin is my sister. She isn't soft. She works EMT shifts and has seen more in the back of an ambulance than most people see in a courtroom. Her idea of comfort is blunt truth. We met at a diner off Route 9 at 8 a.m. She had already finished half a shift. She was in uniform. She looked like she'd tear someone's throat out for me if I asked. That's a good look on a sister. "Start with what you know, not what you feel," she said, sliding me a coffee. "Write like you're making a report. Keep feelings to later. Feelings get you arrested. You're very warm, I said. I'm not here to hug you, she said. I'm here to make sure you're not stupid. So we listed assets and weak points. Olivia. Image is currency. She lives on being trusted, being tasteful, being the one who can handle delicate investor optics. She can't afford to look messy in public. She can't afford to look like the office girl sleeping with the contractor because then she's not classy, she's desperate. She cares what her parents think. She says she doesn't, but she does. Her mother especially. Her mother had a divorce in the 90s and weaponized it into a personality. Olivia grew up on those stories. She learned what the narrative does. She wants to be the victim in the narrative, not the villain. Tyler. His whole brand is alpha who gets things done. He lives on contracts with guys like Tony. Word-of-mouth contracts, gym deals, bar handshake work. One rumor can cut all of that off overnight. He believes he can't be humiliated because he thinks humiliation only sticks to weak men. He loves his car more than he loves any woman. He worships that stupid blacked-out Range Rover like an altar. He films it from low angles so it looks bigger. Me, not strong, not big, I won't win a fight. I know systems. I understand surveillance, access, the way people leave trails without knowing. I have patience. I can sit and wait for a script to break. I don't rage in public. I freeze. I go cold. That reads as calm to witnesses and cops. Rules. 1. No hitting them first. Ever. They hit me. Fine. I document. I don't swing back unless I have to defend my body. 2. No threats that can be quoted in court as danger to safety. I don't say obviously, but I also don't say I'll ruin you in texts. In person, sure. In texts, number 3. No property damage that crosses into felony territory. Misdemeanor level stuff only, and only if it's deniable, and only if it's poetic enough to be worth it. 4. Witnesses, always. Erin lives 2 streets over in the same general suburb mess. She can be there in 5 minutes if I text. She has a dash cam. She has authority presence. People listen to EMT uniforms the way they listen to cops without the hate. I'm serious, Dan, she said, leaning in. Guys like Tyler will bait you. He'll get in your face. He'll shove you. He wants you to swing. He wants that story. He wants to be able to tell cops you snapped. You do not swing. I won't, I said. You will want to, she said. I know, I said. She studied me. You're different. Yeah, I said. How bad do you want to hurt them? She asked. Bad, I said. Good, she said. Use it. But don't let it use you. There's a line between I'm destroying your reputation and now I'm banned from seeing my own house without supervision because she got a protective order. You let her push you into that, you're finished. She'll get the house, the stuff, the sympathy. You'll get a couch at my place and cold pizza. I'm not losing the house, I said. Erin smirked. There it is. She already planned it, I said. Show me. I showed her the messages, the leverage talk, the he'll fold, the phase him out. Erin's face did an ugly thing and then went very flat. She said, phase him out like your old office furniture, she said. I know. Okay, Erin said. Then we phase her out first. The first escalation didn't even come from me. It came from Tyler. He found me outside his gym. He works out at Iron Forge, this smug little warehouse gym where all the guys wear sleeveless hoodies with the logo and film themselves lifting in the mirror. It's the kind of place where dudes spot each other and call each other beast without irony. I knew his schedule because I'd seen the texts. Same time tomorrow, Shoulders Day. Like Shoulders Day is a holy holiday. I pulled in early and parked across the lot. I waited. My heart was steady. I wasn't sure if I was going to puke or laugh. Maybe both. He walked out at 6:12 p.m., duffel on his shoulder, t-shirt damp with sweat, jaw already set to threaten. He saw me. His smile went mean. Look who it is, he said, swaggering over. He spreads his arms when he walks, like he's too wide for door frames. Hey, Tyler, I said. I kept my voice normal, almost polite. You think you're cute, he said. I think I'm married, I said. And I think you know that. And I think you didn't care. He stepped into me. He was close enough that I could smell that fake cedar body spray all guys like him think smells like money and danger. It actually smells like a mall kiosk. He leaned in more, chest against mine. You going to cry? He said, smirking. I'm recording, I said. His eyes flicked down. My phone was out, camera up, red light blinking, not streaming to social, streaming to someone better. Marcy. Quick thing about Marcy Whitman. She's basically the HOA's answer to cable news. She knows who's behind on dues and who's secretly refinancing. She acts like she cares about the neighborhood image. What she cares about is having something everyone else wants. Information is currency. She is a banker. I had her on FaceTime. Camera flipped so she could see Tyler's face. What's up, sweetheart? She said through my phone speaker, pretending she just happened to call. She's in her 50s and calls everyone sweetheart unless she hates you, in which case she calls you hon, in a tone that should count as a slur. Tyler blinked. He did not like that. His whole posture shifted. You knew she was married, I said, nice and clear for the mic. Repeat that for me. I knew she was married, and I didn't care. He snarled. Shut that off. You grabbed her wrist at the Grant Street flip, I said. You want to talk about that on camera? How that looks? He slapped at my phone. He didn't hit me. He hit the phone. That still counts. My phone popped out of my hand and skidded across the asphalt. At the same moment, he shoved me in the chest with his open palm. Pain hits weird. It's bright. It's not like in movies where it's deep bass drums. It's like a light bulb pops behind your eyes. I stumbled back and hit the side mirror of his car, and instinct took over. I grabbed that mirror and slammed it forward as hard as I could. Plastic cracked with a loud, ugly snap. Men like Tyler don't believe you can touch their stuff. They think the world is insured against hurting them. When that mirror snapped, his face changed. He went from smug predator to kid who just got embarrassed in the cafeteria in 1 second. You little piece of... he started. I said. Hit me and it's assault. Marcy, you still there? Still here, sweetheart, Marcy said. Oh my God, is that Tyler Grant? Oh my God, hi Tyler, wave to the board, hun. He froze. It tasted like metal and regret. Touch me again, I said, low, calm, steady. And that video of you and Olivia in the half-finished Grant Street property goes to every investor's wife in Tony's contact list. And to the city inspector. I'm sure they'll love seeing you running a space heater off a janky extension cord next to exposed insulation. Fire hazard's not a cute look on a portfolio piece. He stared at me. You wouldn't, he said. I grinned. Say hi to LinkedIn, I said again. He stepped back. You don't scare me, he said, but his voice had a crack in it this time. Small, but there. You should be scared of your brand, I said. He laughed. He spit on the ground near my shoe, not on it. Coward move. Then he walked back to his car, saw the dangling mirror, and swore out loud enough that 2 other guys in hoodies looked over. Good. Public. Witnesses. I picked my phone up. Marcy was still on. Oh my God, she whispered. This is so much better than pickleball. Do not post that, I said. Of course not, sweetheart, she lied. Humiliation in private is satisfying. Humiliation in public is strategy. Saturday was the elementary school renovation fundraiser. You know the type. Silent auction baskets with calls like Family Fun Night. That's 2 movie tickets and a bowling lane. Olivia was on the planning committee. She had a clipboard. She had a lanyard with her name in neat font. That kind of thing makes her feel like a shark. Aaron and I walked in like we belonged. I wore the one blazer Olivia always said made me look like a person with a 401k. Erin wore her EMT jacket because she's smarter than all of us. Authority halo. Olivia saw me and nearly choked on her water. That alone was worth parking. Tyler was there too, hovering around the silent auction table for weekend landscaping package, like he'd personally grown the lawn. Kayla, God bless her, came in 10 minutes after we did. She walked straight past me and Aaron and went for Olivia like a guided missile. "You told him you loved him," Kayla said. Loud, not screaming, just loud enough to cut through the chatter. People heard. People always hear that word. Olivia froze. Then she did the thing, the fake empathy face, the soft voice. "Kayla," she said, like she's soothing a scared patient. "This isn't the place." "Oh, I think it's exactly the place," Kayla said. "You told him you were going to leave your husband. You told him you were going to leverage your husband. Your word, not mine. You told him he'd be living with you by Christmas. You told him he'd be on the deed once you got rid of the dead weight. That would be your husband, right? The guy who paid your mortgage and your car insurance while you were sneaking off to bang in half-built houses like a pair of teenagers behind a speedway." Conversations in the gym died. You could feel them drop. People turned, heads swiveled like sunflowers chasing a light. Olivia went red all the way up to her forehead. Not cute, embarrassed red, blotchy, angry red. "Kayla," she whispered through clenched teeth, "we can talk about this privately." "Why?" Kayla said. "You didn't do it privately." Tyler moved in, hands up like he's about to defuse a hostage situation. "Ladies, hey, okay, we don't need to." Kayla rounded on him so fast his hands dropped. "Shut up," she said. He shut up. It was beautiful. Then he blew it. "You're acting crazy," he said. "Never tell a woman you just cheated on that she's acting crazy in public. Just don't. It's not even about respect. It's just survival." Kayla slapped him across the face. The crack echoed in the gym. It wasn't that hard, but it sounded like it. Everyone heard it. 2 PTA moms gasped in unison. Tyler went to grab her wrist. Erin was already moving. She stepped between them like she'd been shot out of a gun. "Hands off," Erin said. "Who the hell are you?" Tyler snapped. "She's with me," I said, stepping up behind her. Tyler saw me and bared his teeth. He looked like a dog about to lunge. Olivia panicked. "Stop it," Olivia hissed. "Tyler, stop! Daniel, stop!" And then, because this is suburbia and not a war zone, the security volunteer, a dad in a polo with security printed on the back in white iron-on letters, came over with both hands up. Okay, let's all cool off," Polo Dad said. Then a voice cut through from the door. "Everything all right here?" "Officer Hale." Hale is local patrol, mid-40s, soft at the middle in a way that says he used to be fit and now stress eats in his cruiser. He knows everyone's first names. He plays softball with the dads in the summer. His whole job is keeping the town looking clean enough nobody calls the county. "Domestic?" he asked Aaron quietly, eyes flicking from Tyler's red cheek to Kayla's shaking shoulders. "No physical but a slap," Aaron said. "Verbal fight, high emotions. I stepped in, no weapons. We're cool." Hale nodded like he was checking boxes on a form in his head. "Good," he said. Then louder, "Folks, let's get back to raising money for the kids, huh?" People tittered. Someone clapped. The gym breathed again. Olivia looked like she wanted to throw up. Kayla looked like she wanted to burn the building down. I felt calm. Tony was there too. He'd been across the room talking to the town council chair near the raffle basket table. He'd watched the whole thing. He met Olivia's eyes. I saw it. That look. Not anger, calculation. That's worse, because anger is emotional. Anger you can fix. Calculation means you're a number in a spreadsheet, and the math isn't working anymore. That look was the beginning of the end of Olivia's job. The next morning, Olivia was called into Tony's office. She left the house like she was going to a funeral. Same black blouse she wore when she had to do damage control after a client got drunk and handsy at a holiday party. That blouse is like her armor. I watched her go. Then I made my first real move. I texted Tony, not from a fake number, not catfish. I texted him from my number, which he knew from the couple's dinner last spring where he spent 2 hours telling me the town is primed for real growth if we can keep outsiders from ruining it, like he invented gentrification. Tony, I wrote, heads up since we're all trying to keep this town clean. Tyler Grant was bragging in the Grant Street property about your private investor names and timelines. I have him on video. Wanted you to hear it from me before it becomes a neighborhood thing. Dan. That was mostly true. Tyler brags about everything. I'd heard pieces. I didn't actually have investor names on video, but I did have Tyler in a property with Olivia, with a space heater sitting on sawdust. It looked sloppy. It looked unprofessional. And in Tony's world, unprofessional is worse than criminal. 30 minutes later, Olivia came back home. She wasn't wearing her armor face. She was wearing something else, something like shock. He told me to take a break, she said. She dropped her purse on the kitchen counter and let it fall. That's how I knew how bad it was. Olivia does not drop her purse. Olivia treats her purse like it's a Fabergé egg. He said optics are rough right now. He said we can't be associated with public drama. He said I should lay low until after the holidays. Unpaid? I said. Her face crumpled. He said he can't justify paying me to not show up, she whispered. I nodded, slow, like a doctor delivering a test result he already knew. Daniel, she said, voice cracking. Please, you can't do this. I'm not doing this, I said. You did this. I made a mistake, she said. I saw the texts, I said. It wasn't a mistake. It was a plan. Her hands shook. Please, she whispered again. Please, I'm begging you. My mother, I can't. Ah, there it was. The pressure point. Her mother, who has opinions about girls who sleep with contractors. Her mother, who likes to talk about how men are dangerous, unstable, unpredictable, and women have to protect themselves. Her mother, who will absolutely repeat whatever narrative Olivia feeds her, to every cousin and aunt and ex-friend from high school inside of 24 hours. Don't tell her, Olivia said. She was crying now. Mascara lines. Real tears, not the kind she pulls in meetings. I won't have to, I said. She'll ask why you aren't at work. Daniel, she said. You going to tell her it's because you slept with the contractor in a half-finished flip and got into a public screaming match at the fundraiser in front of the town police officer, I said. Or you going to tell her it's because I'm unstable and controlling and you had to create distance for your safety? She froze, just like that, dead still. I smiled, small, sharp. See, I said, I read your emails, Olivia. Her eyes widened, her lips parted. That's right, I thought. You didn't see that coming. You thought you were playing chess with a Labrador. You thought you could throw a ball and I'd just chase it and bring it back and sit. You're going to listen to me now, I said quietly, because I'm done being nice. I'm done being the version of me you pre-wrote. I'm done being the enemy in a story you get to tell. She said nothing. From this point on, I said, you live in this house, and you feel what it's like when nobody believes you anymore. Her face crumpled. She covered it with her hands. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel guilty. I felt steady, because now it wasn't about an affair. It was about survival. She had been willing to erase me from my own life. She'd called it clean. She'd called it leverage. She'd called me not masculine and he'll fold. I wasn't folding. Not anymore. And I still had Tyler to deal with.